I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and record for those that can't make it on. Hopefully we can post the recording on our leadership page. So I just want to thank you so very much for jumping on last minute with us. I just felt like I had a few things that I wanted to share that were on my heart. And if you know Quinn and I well enough to know we are not very good planners, but we were kind of last minute. If anybody can jump on, great. And so I'm glad to see that you're here tonight. How many of y'all out there are stressed out? Anybody stressed out? Anybody be honest about that? Like there's a lot that's been going on, right? So, when I was thinking about this, it reminded me of a study that, everybody should be muted. Okay. It reminded me of a study that I had heard about at Global Leadership Summit. I was fortunate enough to go with a wonderful group of leaders. Rachel Williamson invited me to that Global Leadership Summit. And one of the speakers had talked about and kind of gave a story that really hit home for me. He talked about how, like, you know, if you're stressed out and, you know, your circumstances around you are just kind of falling apart, he related it back to this study they had done on monkeys, okay? Now, I'm not saying that we're monkeys or anything like that, but just roll with this, right? So they had related this back to a story of monkeys and how they had caged these monkeys, and they caged them individually. And as they put these monkeys in the cage, they were like going crazy, like, you know, arms flailing, yelling, or whatever you would call a monkey to do, right? Making all sorts of noise, basically in distress, wanting out of the cage. It was like completely not, it was raising their stress level. And the study basically was that when they were caged alone, they were high stress, high alert. And they changed that study to add like their buddy with them. So like maybe Quentin's my monkey buddy, right? Right? And so now they caged us together. They just opened the cage door up and put another monkey in there with them. So they were two, you know, pairs. They were buddies in their cages together. And then all of a sudden their cortisol levels, their stress levels just completely dropped like 50%. They had like done all these scientific studies to show those cortisol levels are completely dropped. And so, you know, I thought that was a great story, and I know it sounds really corny, but I thought it was a great story because it's a reminder of that we don't need to do this alone. Like when you're stressed out, you're probably stressed out because you feel alone. You're probably stressed out because you feel like you're the only one going through it. You feel like you're the only one that's in a valley. And this is just a really, really important reminder that we need to connect. And when we connect with other people, with like-minded people, it changes everything. There's something in our brain that changes, guys. When we connect with people, this thing gets easier. Life gets easier. So you're back there smiling at me. I can't help but think of the monkey story.
We're having a Zoom on monkeys tonight.
I know that sounds really crazy, right? But I thought of that study the other day when I was running, and I thought, you know, you all need to hear that. And it may not be as a big of an aha as it was for me. But I feel like so many of us, especially leaders, we get to diamond or above and we just think we can do this on our own. We can lead our team on our own. We can, you know, cut off and do our own team pages. We can do our own team chats. We can, you know, we are the leader, so we should be able to shoulder it all and not have to come together as a group. And I'm here to tell you that you're going to be like that monkey by itself going crazy. And your business, if it hasn't already taken a dip, it's going to take a dip because you've got to have that support around you. And you have to create that layer of leadership. You have to have a buddy with you. You have to be connected to people. And when you connect, something changes. You know, something changes in your brain. And success can happen. Life just completely changes. And so I really wanted to open up with that. But more so, I want to talk about leadership and what leadership really, really, truly means. And leadership is influence, you guys. It's influence. And I know Quentin talked about this at the men's retreat. So I want him to share just a little bit. I'm going to put him on the spot here. But it's so vitally important that you are influenced by the right people, that you are surrounding yourself with the right people. Do you realize the people that you hang out with, you're going to be, you know, they always say like the 5 people that you hang out with are the 5, you know, who you become, right? So who are you hanging out with on a daily basis? Who are you becoming? And so you can never be better than the people that are right with you, right? And so what we should be doing is we should be surrounding ourselves with people that are smarter than us, that are more energetic than us, that are more organized than us, that, pick whatever that trait is that you have a weakness in. Find somebody that's really strong. Find someone that's very driven. Find somebody that's very goal-oriented and team up with them. And I'm not saying like, hey, be my buddy in my cage with me, but make sure that you are surrounding yourself with people that are going to push you to be better than you are now. Because if you just stand and just be who you are and be complacent with who you are, you're going to be very stagnant in your growth. You're going to be very stagnant in your life, not to just mention success with it works. So you've got to be in a position that you're always, always, always pushing yourself, but you got to surround yourself with people to do that. Influence.
Oh, okay, so unscripted, because I didn't know that's what I was talking about, but Ronnie heard it. I was there. We talked a lot about influence at the ministry tree, and honestly, I've lived all sides of the influence scale. Like I went through a period of my life where I was just not a great dude. I was living a wrong life, and I can attribute a lot of that to the circle of people who I had allowed to become my primary influence. And it wasn't until I changed that circle of influence that I became to change. It was a process. It's a slow fade in, slow fade out. And what we see happen in this business all the time is negativity is like a disease. It's like a disease. Like you get one person that starts talking about how bad something is, and then here comes trickles of all this other chirping, and you get all this stuff. But I believe that so too can be positivity. If negativity is a cure, if negativity is a disease, positivity and excitement is the cure to that. And what you've got to do is really create a nucleus around you that is this impenetrable defense mechanism against all this distraction and negativity and nastiness. We've seen what's happened in our business in the last few weeks. Crazy people doing crazy things, and people.
And if you're unaware of that, then stay unaware of it.
Yeah.
Right? There are leaders in this business that maybe you weren't connected with that have wreaked a little bit of havoc, but we're not going anywhere.
No.
So you've just got to be grounded.
There were no leaders in this business that created havoc. That is not true. There were business builders in this business that created havoc. No leader has created any havoc. And so what I want to challenge you guys tonight, you ladies, is really this business. If we look back 6 years ago almost when we started, it was never, ever ran as this isolated island of me. Boy, I'm planting my flag in the diamond spot, and now I've got my team, and we're just going to, like, Clash of Clans. Like we're going to start our own little clan over here. It was never done that way. And I think what we're seeing now is people going, oh, man, I tried my little Clash of Clans army over here, and I felt like we just kept drifting. And what I realized is I want to be a leader. I want to be my own person. I want to have my own voice. But guess what? Having your own voice isn't all it's cracked up to be, because you find yourself out there all alone going, hey, my voice sounds good, but it's the only damn voice out here. And
it's echoing back to me.
Yeah, it's so much better together. Like that phrase, better together, is not just some crazy, cheesy phrase.
Right.
And so the power of influence is really massive. And what I challenged the guys at the leadership at the ministry retreat was this. If you don't have a core 3, a core 5 that you just go to, like they are your people that breathe absolute life and truth and vitality and excitement into you, you are missing the boat. If you're hanging around with negative Nancy, having coffee with negative Nellie, and you're sitting around feeling about how negative business is, why do you think that is? Look at your circle. You've got to surround yourself with people who are invested in your core beliefs of being good, being better, and we really are. Listen, as equally powerful, we are better together, and we are also worse together. If you're hanging around with those folks that are dragging you down, guess what you're going to do? You're going to become an anchor just like them. Yeah. And so your influence is powerful, not just as a cohesive group that you look at on the screen, your peer group, but your influence is so powerful to your team beneath you, your peer group beside you. When we start creating these lines of division, like the separatist idea, then people see that and they start creating it. It's
well,
like
I think we do it, and then people just assume that they have to do it too.
Yeah.
And people are branching off a lot sooner than they need to be, and it's very fracturing to a lot of teams. And, as leaders, leadership is influence. And, leadership is all about adding value to people. Leadership is all about lifting people up. And, when we talk about adding value and lifting people up, we're talking about like layered leadership. And that layered leadership doesn't necessarily have to be in your organization. It can be throughout the business, right? When you create those relationships with other leaders. So, I think it comes back to what are we doing intentionally each and every day to create that value, to create that intentionality, in building that influence that we really want to be a part of. And then take it a step forward and saying, what are we doing to influence our people? I think that's really, really important. You have to really be mindful. Each and every one of you on this Zoom tonight, or a diamond and above, you have to be very mindful that people are watching you. And they're watching every move that you make. They're watching posts that you make on Facebook. They're watching you, BOGO time. Are you working during BOGO time? Just know that whatever you do, your team is going to follow suit. And so, you've heard us say this before. If you want runners, you have to be a runner yourself, because you're certainly not going to find runners on your own walking trail, right? And I know that sometimes that's hard to grasp and hard to swallow at times. Being in the business for 5.5 years like us, it's hard to keep running each and every day. But I also know there's a lot of lives that are still needing to be changed. It's not about me anymore. It's about the lives out there that can be changed through this business. We have to be really intentional with what we're doing.
I just want to give a quick shout out. I don't know if Katie is on here, Katie Garagos or Tara. I see Tara. Hey, I just learned today when I was talking to Jonathan that Katie and Tara, you guys are like accountability partners. Is that correct? In your businesses. That is freaking awesome.
Right.
That is a great example of working together. I mean, those are two people who are not connected in the business. We're both their uplines, but they came together as two diamond leaders to say, hey, let's work together and better each other. That's amazing. Awesome. So high five. And if there are others of you out there doing, I don't want to overlook it. I just learned about that one today, and so I wanted to give it a shout out. Nice work. I want to say this, and I don't know where you're going with your notes, and we only have a short period of time here, but look, as far as I can see, there is not a black diamond on this Zoom. I don't see any, right? Are any of you black diamonds out there that I'm missing?
Gotta be.
Okay. So what I want you to hear in the most loving Quentin voice, and I don't have a great loving Quentin voice, but the most loving Quentin voice is, I love you, but none of you have arrived. Not a single one of you have arrived. Y'all hear that? So some of us get to a spot in our business where we're like, oh, well, I'm a certain rank. Now I'm going to start managing my business and coaching people and mentoring them. The only coach and mentoring you really need to be doing is in the mirror about recruiting loyal customers and distributors into your business. Because the best way I have found to motivate and lead people is by example. Right. You have to set the tone for your business. No one on this Zoom has arrived, I say with love.
I think that was very loving. I appreciate that.
I've been working on smoothing my edges over a bit, Katie. Do you agree? I had some rough edges. I'm trying to smooth them down. So I'm just telling you, I think this mentality exists, whether you want to own it or not. Well, there's presidentials on here. There's diamonds on here, and none of you have arrived at any of that position, any of those checks, and we've got to get out of that mindset, because I think there are some, if we really looked into our core, that said, you know what, I reached a rank level that I was comfortable with for whatever reason. I arrived.
I think people just stop, they think that they can do, like for me, when I started, I want to nail money, and then it went to teacher money, and then stay at home money, being able to not have a job. I had to keep dreaming. My vision had to grow each and each time I accomplished something. Otherwise, I would have never pushed myself for any more. And so when I hit double diamond, that was like the pinnacle of yes, cry, I can stay home. This is going to be my job forever. And then I thought, stop, that's amazing. But this girl is going to be a 6-figure stay-at-home mom. And then it went from that, because I accomplished that, to this girl is going to give an opportunity to her husband to be a stay-at-home dad. And so you just have to continue to keep growing that vision. You know, one thing I want to talk about and touch on is really, really important is motivation. Like, you know, you've heard a lot of people say, like, how do you keep your team motivated? How do you stay motivated? Here's the thing. You can't expect your team to motivate you. You just can't. You can't. It's going to disappoint you if you think that your team is you're going to get up every morning and your team is going to motivate you because they're signing people left and right. It's just not going to happen. It is your job as a leader to motivate yourself. And that's a daily process. So, you know, we do things in life sometimes, not because we feel like it, but we do things out of obedience and out of discipline. And so I want to tell you that, you know, there is nothing in life that comes easy that's worth it, right? And we all know that. We've heard that before. But the reality is we're going to do a lot of things that we don't feel like doing. You're going to have to miss out on some things in life. Some girlfriend night outs, or putting your kids to bed one night, or, you know, making those those sacrifices into your future if you want to be at a higher level than you are now. And so it's not our job. It is our job to stay motivated ourselves, yes, but we can't expect for our team to motivate us. That's the hard part. Because I think a lot of you are like, well, if I had the right team, then we would be doing better. No, it's not about you got it wrong. You got it wrong. They're not there to motivate you to get your fire burning. You are there to do that for yourself. And like Mark said on the call the other night, the Zig Ziglar quote about how motivation is like a shower. You have to take a shower each and every day, right? You have to find motivation each and every day.
So I know a few of you I see comment on my posts, you know, Amy and Katie and Sarah, the rest of you, shame on you. Amanda, I've made a few videos lately because this has really been on my heart. It really has, this idea of motivation. I truly believe with all of my soul, God is really revealing some important things. Motivation is a lie. It just doesn't exist. Motivation is so fleeting. Like it's so based on emotion, and we are such emotionally weak human beings, all of us. And when we talk about emotion, it's so fleeting because, when we talk about motivation, it's so fleeting because it's based on emotion. But what's not based on emotion is obedience and discipline. Mm-hmm. And so if we can bring discipline into our business, where we are obedient to the process, we know what it takes. You know, we used to joke about this in the very beginning. Like, we walked around for 2 years. I shouldn't say we. You walked around for 2 years like a freaking zombie because she never slept. She never slept because she was so committed to this vision that she had. And she's like, you know, I'm exhausted. I'm tired, but I believe so strongly in momentum. Momentum is so key to your business, everyone.
It is huge.
She was disciplined in what she did. She took, you know, she didn't feel like it. The emotion wasn't there. The motivation wasn't there. The discipline was there. The obedience to the process was there. Y'all know what to do. You didn't get to Diamond on accident. Like, there's nothing news flashy on this Zoom that you're going to hear. Right. Nothing. If you walk away from anything from this Zoom, let it be personal responsibility, discipline, and obedience. Those 3 things I want you to hear.
Okay, so that's awesome. I love that, because I'm going to say, you know, we had an opportunity to see John Maxwell live. I think I saw Sammy on the Zoom here a minute ago. He's amazing. He talks about intentional living and living your life with intention. You know, he says that, I'm going to read this. He says, everything worthwhile is uphill. You cannot have uphill hopes with downhill habits. You can't have uphill hopes with downhill habits, you guys. So if you are setting yourself up each and every day with downhill habits, there's no way you're going to ever achieve that high that you're looking for, that uphill, right? You're laughing at me.
I'm not laughing at you. No. I'm not laughing at you. I'm looking at this Zoom, and I love Zoom and I hate Zoom, because I look at this Zoom and I see 50 people on here.
You want to shake them. Wake up!
And 30 of you are asleep because you're like, oh man, I'm drained, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. Like, we live in such a state of like, ugh, right? We do. And so we've got to find a way to surround ourselves with a Lori Conway that's just bringing life back to your business, man. Smile. If you are exuding death on this Zoom right now, everyone needs to smile. It's making me sick.
That's what you're...
Laura, who's Laura? What are you looking at, Laura? Yes, come on, smile.
We're going to start pointing everybody out. So here's the thing. Like, we have this nonverbal about us that everybody sees, right? That we exude whether we feel like we do or not. And so people are like, I don't know why I'm not successful. And I'm like, well, just look at your body language. Yes. Like, nobody wants to be around you.
Hey, you be on our Zoom. We will, you know, we'll be a guest speaker in your Zoom room. I'm like, come on, man. We've got to pick it up. We've got to pick it up. Energy and excitement changes everything. I don't care who you are. You can't have uphill dreams with a downhill mentality.
Right.
You can't run a Zoom in a downhill mentality. Same difference. I'm not laughing at you. I'm with you.
Awesome. Well, thanks for not laughing at me. But I had to read it. He's really good at memorizing everything. I have to read everything. But he also talked about how, you either have a choice to lead your life or accept your life. Which are you going to do? Because at the end of the day, at the end of your life, think about this. Think about it when you put your head on the pillow tonight. At the end of your life, are you going to be happy with what you authored? I mean, I know that we have the great author of all, right? And that's Jesus Christ, God. He promises you great things when you stay faithful, right? But the reality is that you are the author of your life. You get to write the rest of the chapters of your life, guys. I can't fix what's been done in the past, okay? I can't help with any of that, but we can move forward from that. So what are you going to do with the remaining chapters of your life? What are you going to do to create that legacy for your family, to create that success that you so desire? What type of habits are you going to put in daily, intentional discipline daily to get where you want to go? Because nobody can do it for you.
How about we just go back to the basics? How about we go back to the basics? Most of you on here are diamond or double diamond. So you know what you should do? Get off of this Zoom and go build another diamond. How about you do that? Build another diamond. There's your challenge. Go build another diamond. You did it once. Why not do it again? Because here's the thing. Momentum isn't always going to be there.
Right.
You have to understand, like, if there's one thing I could impress upon a brand new person, like in a way that touches their soul, it's that you have to grab a hold of momentum and just run until you're about ready to die.
Have you ever been bicycling, and there's a hill coming up, right? And you've hit this downhill and you're just coasting and it's great. And you have this speed and you think you're never going to slow down. You're actually going too fast. It's kind of scary, but you keep going, but inevitably there's another hill up there. So the faster you go, guys, the easier that hill's going to be. And then you're going to crest that hill and you're going to come back and you're going to do it again. But if you slow down and you put your brakes on when you're doing that, right? And you're going super fast and you're fearful, so you put the brakes on, or you're like, this is my time to really coast it and kind of take a nap. You're going to have a rude awakening when that next hill comes, because you're going to have to pedal so hard to get back to where you were. So don't stop. Momentum is huge. Ride with it because it can create great, great things for you.
Or how about this? Let's say we all start off on our brand new sexy 10-speed bikes on this bike journey, right? We're kicking ass on every hill that comes our way. And then we come up on a pack of trikes, right? These little 3-wheel motorcycle thingies that are going like a half mile an hour. Like, you know what? Hey, let's hop on those things. Those 3-year-olds look like they're having a blast. Let's go do that and move at their speed. Right? There goes the 10 speeds off and they continue in success. But I'm going to chill back here with the 3-year-olds that are riding on the scooters. Let's not do that. We've got to stay going. And I see so much of, it's not just you. I like to pick on Zooms because we can see people's energy. You can see their faces, and that's kind of fun. That's my thing. But we've done so many Zooms. We've talked to so many people. People are contacting like, what would you do in this? What do you do to motivate our people? It's the same questions.
What are you doing to motivate yourself?
Yes.
Because if you stay motivated and you stay excited, guess what? Your team will too. So you have to stay excited. You have to wake up every morning. It is your job to wake up each and every morning fulfilled and looking for that passion for the day, right? If your passion bucket is empty, life is too short, y'all. Fill that passion bucket up. Right? Go live a life that's exciting and change lives, because when you do, you're going to be such a magnet of attraction. People are going to be attracted to that, and they're going to want to know what you have. They're going to want to know why you're so happy all the time, why you're so different than everybody else.
And I used to say this all the time when we were doing our big trainings in Kansas City. If you are excited about anything, and I don't care what it is, give me a pencil. If I start to tell you how this is the best stinking pen, this Sharpie marker right here is the best writing Sharpie marker you will ever put in your hands. This thing is smooth. It feels good. It almost writes itself. Like, I can't wait to get my hands on this Sharpie marker. If I'm going to write,
I want to buy that marker.
You instantly want this Sharpie marker. It doesn't matter what it is.
Have you ever seen those infomercials where they're like,
yeah.
I can't even think of what they were.
Billy something.
I don't know.
So excited.
And it's like Chris Farley, for all of you that remember him, you know? He lives in a van down by the river.
Yeah, that sounds terrible, but I wanted to see the van.
But I wanted to see the van, and I wanted to live Chris Farley's life because he was so excited, guys. He was so, right?
And the key is you've got to surround yourself with people.
You do. That are going to lift you up.
Because here's the thing. Goes back to what Lori said, and goes back to influence and what we talked about at the men's retreat. You know, I said this. Who's the most powerful man in the world? And a lot of people would go, oh, the President of the United States, right? And I said, is he? Because the President of the United States surrounds himself with a cabinet of people who influence every one of his decisions. The President is merely the figurehead of the cabinet. So who has more influence, the cabinet or the President? I would argue that the cabinet does. You've got to surround yourself with a cabinet of people who are motivating you, pushing you to do more. They are not accepting this complacence. They're not accepting not being excited. They're not accepting, okay, I lost a rank. No, you didn't. You're going to go get the next rank.
Yeah.
Right? That's not okay. It's not. We're not going to have a pity party that our ranks are, that our volume's down. Then go change it.
Do not walk in defeat, because I feel like that's the enemy's way of stalling. That's the enemy's way of you, what did you call them, trites? Jumping on a trite with a 3-year-old, right? He's won. Don't let him win. We have got this. You guys have got this. You're better than you know. Do you realize that? You are freaking awesome, and you need to own that. It's time for you guys to own that. And you know what? I know Clinton talked about me walking around like a zombie in momentum, and I was, and I probably still walk around like a zombie a lot of times. But you know, here's the thing: it's okay to get tired. It really is. It's okay, because everybody gets tired. Even Jesus got tired, right? It's okay to be tired. That's a natural thing. But it's not okay to stay there, okay? Do not stay there. And I could even say defeat. It's okay to get defeated, but don't stay there. It's okay to get discouraged. That's a human quality, right? But don't stay discouraged. Get up and do something about it. Cry about it when somebody says no. Cry about it when somebody makes fun of you for 30 seconds, and then move on, because they're winning. You're allowing them to win what you want out of life. So do not stay there. It's okay to feel those feelings, but don't get stuck in it.
My buddy Chad Kneller always says to me, he's like, hey, it's okay to let that emotion in the car, but you can't let him in the driver's seat.
That's really good. Chad's so good.
He's always got them. So you've got to check yourself. And it goes back to Lori and I both all the time have down days. We're so fortunate that rarely are we both in Moteville together, right? Yeah. So like when she's having her own little pity party, I'll let her have that pity party, and then I start challenging her. Same thing with me. She'll be sensitive for like 30 seconds to me.
And I'm snap out of it.
Man, that really sucks. So what are you going to do to change it? I'm like, well, okay, that's why we work together, I guess. So, but I mean, seriously.
But that's the people that you need to find in your life.
That's right.
They don't need to sit there and listen to you complain and then complain back to you, and then an hour later you're still on the phone and got nothing accomplished.
And that goes for your team too. So it goes back to influence. If you find yourself this person, the go-to for people who always have something to tell you, always have negativity to say to you, always have problems that they're bringing to you. Ask yourself, why is that? It's like I shared this thing on one of our pages a while back that, you know, it was one of our business pages actually, and it talked about, you know, someone talking about someone else. The idea of the meme was, you know, someone's gossiping.
Yeah.
And the meme went something to the tune of, I'm not as concerned about the gossip per se. I'm more concerned about why they felt comfortable gossiping to you.
About me.
Right? So if they're continuing to bring things to you, you need to stop and go, wait a minute. Some way, somehow, I've opened up a highway.
You're allowing this in. Yeah. And when you allow that, guys, you're being influenced.
Yes.
I don't care how strong you are.
So good.
You're so good. You're being influenced. And before you know it, you're going to be doing the same thing. And you're going to be talking about somebody else. And you've wasted 2 hours of your day just gossiping or complaining.
Or talking about how bad business is or volume. Or
go do something.
I can't get anybody to go on a BOGO. Or I can't. Stop it. Stop it. Go find somebody that's crushing out 15 BOGOs and go,
what are you doing?
What are you doing? Because I want some of that.
Yeah. That's so good.
Thank you.
So good. Okay, I gotta look at my notes here. If you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. Mark Pentecost said that on our top 150 call the other day, and I wrote that down. I thought, that's really good. Because I'm not an organized kind of preparer person, but that stuck with me because I thought, I don't want to wake up preparing to fail. Right? So I've got a plan for success. I have to have a winning mindset. I have to have that, those uphill habits, right? To get where I want to be. Because if I look at everything as the glass half full, or everything's downtrodden, or everything is Debbie Downer, then, guess what? I'm going to produce that fruit that way, right? So you reap what you sow in that regard too.
Here's my challenge to you. Go back to the 30 days that you promoted to Diamond. Go back to that month. And I want you to take those 30 days and work the same way that you worked that month that you promoted to Diamond. See how your business changes. Because here's what's happened. We've gotten away from the basics. We've gotten away from doing launch parties. We've gotten away from wrapping people, physically putting a wrap on someone.
Right.
We've gotten away from actually wrapping ourselves. We forgot how much this product actually works. Holy crap. We got to $1 billion business because we have a product that actually works. Go back to the month you promoted to Diamond and do exactly what you were doing that month.
Hallelujah. That's so true. You were created by a creator to be creative. You hear that? It is time for you to be fruitful. It is not time to be stuck in the mud trying to figure your way out. The only way out is action. The only way out is taking a step. The only way out is putting your hand up and asking someone for help. The only way out is by wrapping somebody. The only way out is changing your mindset. Change your mindset. Going back to that whole monkey analogy, right? Change your mindset. Surround yourself with great people and you'll have great thoughts. Feed this good. Feed this good. Guard your mind and your heart. And your outpour will be awesome. Your outpour will be amazing. You will be so fruitful. And the fruit that really is like long-lasting fruit, right? So you have to really be mindful of who you're putting yourself around. Be mindful who you're following on Facebook. Be mindful of what you're allowing in your everyday life. Because if you want to live a different life than you're living now, you're going to have to do things a lot differently than what you're doing.
I agree. And that starts with, here's a really good idea. Take the next 7 days, grab a notebook, take the next 7 days and actually write down every single thing that you did for the 15 hours a day that you're awake. Actually chart it for 7 days. And then after 7 days, look back at that thing and go, holy crap, I'm not working nearly as much as I thought I was working.
What's happening is we're getting it here. And we're thinking we're working harder than we are. I'm just as guilty, guys. I'm preaching to the choir here, right? It's not just you, it's me too. And I'll spend the day, I'm like, what did I even get accomplished? Like, I just stress myself out because I listened to, his story and her story and this drama and that drama.
I was on Facebook working. And then you start analyzing the hour you're on Facebook, you're like, I didn't actually work at all. I was scrolling and reading and liking and commenting, but I wasn't working.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but you cannot stand in defeat when your paycheck rolls in and that's what you're doing on a daily basis, because that's not income producing activities. That's not producing into your business. So you just be very mindful of what you're doing. I was talking to a gal a couple days ago about mom guilt, right? And I know all of us that are moms on this Zoom, and I know men are different than women, but we have this like mom guilt that just is like agonizing all the time, just always there, right? And I said, one thing for me, I have found, like, I know I'll never get rid of mom guilt. I always feel guilty about something with my kids, right? But one thing I do know is if I use my time intentionally, then I'm going to feel a lot less guilty. Okay. So if I'm working and on my phone and ignoring my kids, which I'm not saying that's a bad thing, right? Kids need their own independent time. I'm cool with that. I got 4 kids. They don't need me 24/7. But if I'm on my phone and I'm working, right? And I haven't done anything for work, but just scroll through and like and comment, no wonder I feel guilty. I feel guilty because I am guilty, right? For saying that I'm working and I'm not really working. I am putting the social aspect of this business. What are you doing? I'm putting the social aspect of this business over my own kids. And I'm not saying that's negative, but when you're looking at trying to do things with your paycheck, it's a give and take, right? So if you're in a position where you feel like your business isn't growing, you're spending all this time working your business, you're away from your kids, your husband doesn't see you. Well, what are you doing during that time? If your husband hates your phone, make it worthwhile, ladies. Like, make $1 million on it and show him that the phone's worth it, right? Set those boundaries. Oh, what? You got 5 minutes left. Go for it.
No. I think look, I've been amazed. Like, if there's probably 5 things in this business that really shocked me. And I'd say one of the top 5 is the amount of mom guilt that women carry. It's amazing to me. Like it's the most unfathomable thing for a guy, because I watch moms create guilt out of water. It's like, oh, the
like
water,
we just got
not wet enough.
Listen, we just got a new puppy, and it's driving me insane already. But like, he wanted to go to lunch today,
decision ever.
And I'm like, I don't know that we should go because we're actually gonna have to put the dog in the kennel. Is that terrible? I feel guilty for putting a dog in a kennel.
What the? Okay, so anyway, I don't understand 90% of the mom guilt, but I know it exists. Like, it's this whole thing that is, my eyes are wide open to it now. And I love what you just said. Like, maybe more of that mom guilt comes from the idea that you are guilty. Like, that's an interesting concept. That's not one that's easy to hear. I want you to hear that I think most of mom guilt, and when I say most, I mean like 99.99999% of it is crap. Like, you guys create this mom guilt in your head. But maybe there's some truth to it. Right. Maybe if you're feeling bad about it, if you're feeling convicted about something, it's speaking to your heart. Maybe there's legitimacy to that. And so you should challenge it. But again, on the flip side of that, on the other side, man, mom guilt is so crazy. You're never going to live up to your own expectation as a mom. That's what I've learned for you women. So do the best you can with what you've got. Teach your kiddos, man, that you can go out and accomplish amazing things. That's what you're here to do, right? You're here to provide for them. You're here to show that, I've created a bunch of memes for Lori over the years that we've used for marketing. And one of my favorite that I always did was she would take the girls and she would be, like when she got her Corvette as an example, she said, I don't tell my girls they can do anything. I show them. And I thought, oh, that's so good. That's so good. Like, that should erase 90% of your mom guilt right there. Like, right. I'm showing my kids that I'm not just telling them, I'm showing them.
And then take it a step further. If you can show them intentionality in everything that you're doing, that's sharing so much with your children, right? Setting them up to win in life, to be intentional and to be fruitful, because that's what God calls us to be fruitful and multiply, right? And he doesn't just talk about that with babies, right? He talks about that with life, with income. I mean, if there's income in great hands, what happens to this world? Great things happen, right? The money's got to go somewhere. And so it might as well just go to the people that are going to do great things with it. So he calls us to be fruitful and multiply. He calls us to live our lives intentionally. We only have so many minutes on this earth. What are you going to do with them to make it count? What are you going to make it, what are you going to do with your life to make it count? And in that regard, teach your children to do the very same thing. You're providing the biggest life lesson.
Influence. You're influencing your children. They are watching you be negative Nelly. They are watching you hang with negative Nelly. They are watching you be cranky about a big check that came in that wasn't quite as big as it maybe once was. That's crazy.
They're watching you. And I'll even say from personal experience, if you were a fly on the wall at our house, you would see that happen in our house too. But those days that I know that we were negative or downtrodden, our kids are the same way.
Yeah, it's so true.
And so we may be on them about how ornery they are, and like, well, it's a complete reflection of me right now. So, okay, we're less than a minute here. Use your time intentionally. Know that you're amazing.
Discipline over motivation.
And understand
obedience over
you're going to be an influencer, and you're going to be influenced. So make sure you're guarding your mind and guarding your heart and putting the right people in your life. We love you all. See you guys.